The topic for today's session is Introduction to SAP Administration, Managing SAP Systems for Business Efficiency. In this session, we are going to study basics of SAP, and after completion of basics, we will concentrate on the administration part. Okay, so we'll move to the agenda. We are going to study in this session Introduction to SAP Administration, classification of different SAP modules, R3 architecture, its explanation, what are the different roles of SAP Basis Administrator. We will discuss on some administration related activities performed by SAP Basis Administrator and the final tips. Okay, we will move to the main topic. What is an SAP? SAP abbreviation is Systems, Applications and Products for Data Processing. Now, what is an SAP? SAP is an ERP software. So before going to study the SAP, we must be able to understand what is ERP first. The abbreviation of ERP is Enterprise Resource Planning. Enterprise Resource Planning Software, ERP software. What is the purpose of this software? The purpose of this software is, as we know, there are multiple departments are there in an organization. For example, sales department, production department, manufacturing department, HR department, and many more departments are there. And it is required that all these departments are synchronized with each other, share their because they need to share the information with each other. So there must be a synchronization between all the departments and a single software which fulfill the requirement of all these department is an ERP software. Got it? What is an ERP? And SAP, then what is SAP? SAP is one of the service provider of an ERP. Okay. For example, a mobile company is one of the service provider of a telecom industry. There are various service providers also. Okay, if many any likewise, SAP is a service provider of an ERP software. There are other products of ERP, SAP also that we're going to study in the next slide. But in this slide, we'll see what is an SAP. So SAP is an ERP software. ERP is clear to us as the abbreviation of ERP indicates, the enterprise resource planning, that is the planning the resources of industry effectively. Which software it does? ERP software. And SAP is one of the service provider of an ERP. Got it? Yes. Now we'll see some basics that when it is founded, SAP founded in 1972. Where? In Germany. By whom? By five IBM employees. And presently, there are 110,000 employees globally present in SAP. And customers, 440,000 customers in 180 countries. Revenue, 34.18 billion euros, fourth largest company in the world. And more specifically, the 99% of 100 largest companies in the world are SAP customers. So we are able to understand that SAP is the largest ERP provider, or SAP captured the ERP market in the world as compared to other service providers. There are other service providers of ERP also, like JD Edwards, JJ Thomson, but the largest service provider of an ERP is SAP. Got it? We'll move to the next slide. Now, in this slide, it will be clear that what is the workflow of an organization and what is the role of ERP software and what is ERP. What is SAP? All these things will going to be clear with this slide. Here we can observe there are various departments: sales, inventory, production planning, finance, shop floor execution. Okay. Now, suppose a customer interact with a sales department that this is my requirement. So what sales does, it will check with the inventory that whether the products are available with us or not. If it is not available, it will connect with the production planning that this is the requirement and we have to we have to implement these many products with us. So in the production planning, we'll check with the inventory, we'll check with the finance, that what is the available inventory, what is the finance requirement, and it will connect with the vendors for the various parts of the product. And once it is finalized, everything is available with the production planning, it gives to the shop floor execution for execution or implementation of that particular product. Once the product is implemented, once it is ready, it is provided to the sales. Likewise, the business flow work. Now imagine if all the departments are working individually and there is not a single software which is handling all the department, then what will happen? Then definitely there will be a synchronization gap between all the department, which leads to the inefficient system, and efficiency of the business system will going to be reduced. How suppose a customer connect a sales department with its requirement that these many products are required by the customer. Sales department has taken the order, but they don't know the inventory is not available with us. When they connect with inventory, they came to know that these products are not available with us, or there can be many problems. If it is not handled centrally, then there might be a synchronization gap between all the departments. Is it clear? What is the requirement of an ERP software? What is SAP? Is it clear to you? No. We'll move further. In this slide, it is explained that SAP is not having a single product that is an ERP product. Other than ERP, there are many products of SAP is available in the market. Here we can see the applications and the purpose. The first two application we can say these are the ERP applications. This first ECC is a traditional ERP which is used previously, and the modern ERP that is replacing the previous traditional ERP is S4HANA system. These two are the ERP products. Other than this, there are some other products of SAP are mentioned over here, like business warehouse. Then for security purpose, like providing the authorization, authentication, GRC module is there. Solution manager, Soulman system is there for monitoring as well as for the management of the systems. All other systems in the landscape will be managed by Soulman. Then Fiori is one of the product that is a modern user interface, which is a mobile-based interface. HCM, human capital management, that is on-prem HR system. Success factor for that is cloud HR. Ariba for procurement. Then supply chain planning and extended warehouse management, that is EWM. And the transport management, process integration and process orchestration, business transformation. All these other products of SAP is mentioned over here, but we will concentrate more on ERP products. Okay, this slide is only for understanding purpose of the SAP products. We have SAP ERP as well as many other products of SAP are available in the market. Now we'll move to the very important slide, that is the classification of SAP. SAP is broadly classified into two categories, that is functional module and the technical module. Now here the important thing to observe in this slide is whatever the modules come under the umbrella of functional module, or whatever the modules comes under the technical part, all these modules are nothing but a job profile. FICO, that is finance and control. So for controlling the FICO related activities, a FICO consultant need to be hired in industry. For the sales and distribution related activities, SD consultant will be there. For material management, consultant is there. Human resource related activities will be done by the HR. Human capital management will be handled by HCM consultant. Then business integration, production planning. All these modules are nothing but the job profile which comes under the functional modules. The other part is the technical module. In the technical module, basically there are two important modules, that is ABAP and BASIS. What ABAP do, what does, and what basis does, we'll see. ABAP is, the abbreviation of ABAP is Advanced Business Application Programming. The purpose of ABAPer in the organization is to write a code for any specific application. It is a development module where those who are good into the coding are becoming an ABAP consultants. Those who are interested more into the coding, those who are not interested in coding, they concentrate in the administration part. That is the basis. It is related with the basis, administration related activities. Administration means there are various activities involving the administration, like installation, configuration, troubleshooting, and many more that we'll discuss in detail. Just for this slide, with the help of this slide, you will be able to understand what are the different functional modules, what are the different technical modules which comes under the SAP. This is the classification. Now, the workflow again we are going to study once again, that as we have seen this slide of workflow, the same slide is over here, but the difference is here, in step by step execution we must be able to know the responsibility of different consultants. Like a customer place an order, so who is responsible for taking the order? Sales and distribution, SAP SD consultant. Then check stock in warehouse. For that, SAP EWM module is there, extended warehouse management or the material management. Then it goes to the production planning, that will be handled by PP consultant, that is SAP PP. Then raw material and purchase will be the responsibility of material management, and it goes to goods manufacturing and delivery, that will be done by SD consultant and EWM. Invoice generated will be finance and ST module. Both are involved in this. And finally, it received by SAP FI, that is finally payment received and recorded, will be handled by finance department. Likewise, the various consultants are responsible for the various activities in SAP. Now, we will see the complete operation of SAP in the form of architecture, that we are calling as a R3 architecture, where R stands for runtime or real time. Now, SAP R3 architecture can be divided into three main division depending on their functionalities. The complete operation of SAP, here we are going to study with by dividing into layers. First, we are calling it as a presentation layer, application layer second, and third one is the database layer. Like the network operation, we study with the help of OSI model or TCP/IP model. Here in SAP architecture, we are going to study all these operations with the help of these three R. That's three layers. That is presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. Now, this is very important slide where we are going to study the architecture of SAP. Here in the architecture, we can see the three layers: presentation layer, application layer, and a database layer. The presentation layer will be Windows based, because whatever the graphical user interface available with us, maybe a laptop or a desktop or a mobile or a GUI based model, that is SAP graphical user interface, that can be possible with Windows based. It cannot be a Linux based. That's why the first part or the first layer in the presentation layer, what is there? Various uh, graphical user interface devices are there, GUI. It may be a laptop or a desktop. Okay, comes under the presentation layer. The second and important layer is an application layer. The application layer can be on Windows or can be on Linux. It will depends on the customer, that what it prefers. Then in the application layer, when the request received from the presentation layer in the application layer, this request will be received by the dispatcher. Okay, here The complete system is called as SAP instance. What do you mean by instance? Instance is nothing but group of resources. So all these group of resources is called as an instance, SAP instance. So when the request from the presentation layer comes to the SAP dispatcher, the purpose of SAP dispatcher is to distribute the work among the work processes. So the actual work is done by the work processors. What are the different work processes? Here we can observe D is for the dialog work process, B is for background work process, it is update work process, V S is the spool work process, and E is the NQ work process. Now the dispatcher distribute the request, whatever the request from the presentation layer comes to the web dispatcher. Sorry, not web dispatcher, dispatcher. The purpose of the dispatcher is to distribute the work among the various work processes. And the work processes will take the work based on their specialities. All work processes are not same. Based on their specialty, the work process will process the work. Now we'll see in detail the various work processes. The very first is the D, that is nothing but the dialogue work process. Now it should be understand that the work processes are very important role, because the actual work is done by these work processes only. Okay, it is like for construction of building, the actual work is done by the laborers. So these are the SAP laborers, those those who are able to do the work, and these laborers will do the work based on their specialty. Similarly, as for the construction of a building, there are various laborers are having their various specialties, like somebody is special in brickwork, somebody special in plaster, somebody special in pop, some are in centering likewise. So here the work processes are having their speciality. The dialogue work process is used for interaction purpose. Whenever there is an interaction, the dialogue work process involve their interaction of word, that we will see in detail. So, first of all, we'll see what is the basic purpose of dialogue. The basic purpose of dialogue is for interaction purpose. So, whenever the interaction involved, the dialogue work process involved in the picture. The second is the background work process. The purpose of the background work process is background related activities or long running statement. Whenever there is a long running task is given to the work process, that can be handled by background work process. Okay, so for long running process, the background work process is responsible for such kind of a activity. The next work process is V. It is for update work process. The purpose of this update work process is to update the information into the database. Whatever the information processing into the application layer, to update this information into the database, the responsibility is with the update work process, that here V is defined for that. Next is the spool work process. Anything related to the spooling or printing is the responsibility of a spool work process. Then the last work process is NQ work process. The purpose of this work process is locking and unlocking purpose. It is for locking and unlocking purpose. What to lock and what to unlock? Suppose few users have requested a same report need to be executed. Then what happen? The processor need to be unlock first request and lock all other requests, and serially it will process the individual requirement. The NQ, I will repeat it again. The purpose of NQ is for locking and unlocking purpose. What to lock and what to unlock? It will be depends on the application. Suppose a developer has written a code, and he don't want to show the code to anybody, so he can lock his code. That can be possible with the help of NQ work process. And the other example is, suppose various processes need to be processed to a processor, then the processor will accept the information serially by locking and unlocking mechanism. If three requests comes parallelly, It will processor will log the two processes, and the third process is the third request is going to be processed based on the priority. It is also based on the priority. It is similar like a interrupt. Okay, so these are the work processes which perform the work, and few more blocks are there. Like M is the message server. The purpose of a message server is within the system communication and load distribution. Is the purpose of a message server. The gateway, G stands for gateway. The purpose of this G, that is gateway, is to communicate between SAP to SAP and SAP to non-SAP system. Gateway is used. And once the information is processed into the application layer, it is finally stored into the database layer. The database can also be a Windows server or a Linux server. And here there are various service provider of SAP databases, not SAP databases, tenant databases are mentioned over here, like Oracle, Informix, DB2, MSSQL, MaxDB. These are the tenant databases. Why these databases are called tenant? Because it is provided by some other service provider. It is not SAP owned data. The SAP owned data is HANA database that we are going to study in the next lecture in detail. First, you should be able to understand completely the architecture, what is the workflow, how the presentation layer provide the information to the application layer, how the dispatcher distribute the work among the work processes, how the work processes complete the work and store the information into the database. This is what the basic architecture of SAP. It must be clear to us. Once it is clear, we in the next lecture we'll see in detail what are the details of the various work processes, what are the functionalities, how we can suppose a request is given to the application layer, then how the work process involve, how they complete the work, that we are going to study into the next lecture. As well as this is complete architecture is ABAP. The In the next lecture we'll see ABAP as well as Java architecture. So how the complete architecture of ABAP and Java work into the SAP basis. Okay, today we'll stop over here. Thank you.